Alright guys, it's time for part 2 of our unboxing extravaganza from DC Rebirth. Today we're going to take a little bit of time with the figures individually and talk about whether they fit into the more competitive or the more casual environment and where we're more likely to play these figures. So look forward to sharing that with you guys, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Figure number 1, Deathstroke. Hive, Society, Suicide Squad, Assassin, Martial Arts, and Soldier keywords. Ignores hindering for movement. Remember, we're getting paid is his trait. When Deathstroke KOs one or more opposing characters with an attack, after resolutions, deal Deathstroke 2 clicks. Special movement power gives him charge and running shot called the best there is. Ignores hindering for movement. I think I said that. He's indomitable. He's got a wild card team ability. 6 clicks for 100 points. This is a very good solid sealed common figure. If you pull him, he's probably a definite play for sealed. Casual play, he's going to be a ton of fun on a lot of the keywords that he's got as options. Competitive play, this is one of those figures that is good, but probably not good enough to make the cut. But nothing wrong with that. He's a good, solid Deathstroke, and in a common slot nonetheless. All right, figure number 2, his son Jericho. He's got Defiance armor as his keywords. Remember, we're the good guys as his trait. You're going to see a couple guys with this. When Jericho hits one or more opposing characters with an attack, but none are KO'd after resolutions, roll d6. Heal Jericho 1 click. And then he's got special movement power, gives him mind control and running shot. Now, at a 60-point dial with 10 attack with Psychic Blast, he's not going to be breaking the world of competitive play. But for sealed plays, it's a very good option. One of the things, too, you'll get out of this guy is a lot of longevity. Because if you're using strictly his mind control, that's an attack that's not going to KO anybody. Unless you've done something very weird. Very weird. So, yeah, Jericho is probably going to be healing off of all of his mind controls. Well, at least on a 3-6 on that roll. So, nothing wrong with that. Pretty solid dude, to say the least. All right. Figure number 3, Rose Wilson. The whole family's here. Defiance, Assassin, Martial Artist keywords. Remember, we're the good guys trait. Visions of another's death is her next trait. Probability control, but can only reroll opposing attacks. She ignores hindering for movement as well. This is a short 60-point dial. It's probably going to be strictly sealed in casual play. Not going to be making a splash on competitive, that's for sure. All right, next up. Figure number 4, Terra has got the Defiance keyword. Remember, we're the good guys trait. Insert rock power-based power pun here. Barrier. Other friendly characters adjacent to one or more of her barrier markers can use toughness and modify defense +1. This has got a special defense power on all but her first click. Draw from the earth, energy shield, toughness, willpower, but only if Terra is adjacent to blocking terrain. 65 points, invulnerable to start, but then she's got that special defense everywhere else. And she's, of course, got barrier, like we said. Barrier is just a strong power that tends to make characters excel better because they just happen to have barrier. Next up, Kid Flash. Central City Teen Titans Speedster keyword. He's got the Titans Reborn trait. You're going to see this a couple times too. When Kid Flash is given a move action after resolutions, he can use the Teen Titans ability at no cost. Ignores elevated and hindering for movement. 50 points, 4-click dial, Teen Titans team ability. Sealed, solid, casual, definite, competitive, not so much. All right, next up, figure number 6, Power Girl. Oh, man, am I getting thirsty. Star Labs, Teen Titans and Scientist keywords, Titans Reborn trait. And this is just a bruiser 50-point dial with some perplex. Very strong sealed play for sure. Casual makes up a piece of that Teen Titans team. And just generally alright character overall. Alright. Next up, Commander Steel. All-Star Squadron, Justice Society, Pass, and Soldier keyword. The Haywood Legacy is his trait. When Commander Steel is hit with a close attack, after resolutions deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. Then he's got the Simpler Time trait. Once per turn for all characters with this trait. If a character uses the JSA team ability to replace its defense value with Commander Steel's, and when targeted with a close attack, after resolutions deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. They squeeze a nice little package into 40 points with Indomitable. On this dude, JSA team ability, leadership, and power in the late dial, high defense on the late dial. He's a pretty good filler for sealed. Probably not going to be making a splash in competitive, but a nice include on that simpler time team while they still last in the modern age. All right. Figure number 8, Adeline Kane. Bring it all down around you, Slade. Free. Choose 2 opposing characters within 6 squares in line of fire with the same trait or special power printed on their dials, and choose 2 standard powers. Those opposing characters can't use the chosen standard power until your next turn. She got Argus, Hive, Politician, Soldier, and Spy keywords. 4-click dial with enhancement for 30 points with the PD team ability. This is a strong sealed play for sure, making your ranged dudes better. That power is very situationally sealed for sure, because you got the Defiance where the hero's right. There's the Remember We're Getting Paid trait, which shows up. Remember We're the Good Guys, sorry. Remember We're Getting Paid, and then Titans Reborn all kind of repeat themselves throughout the set. And I think the Haywood Legacy also repeats itself once or twice. So she's going to be really good and effective at sealed, but not so much in the competitive play, because that's going to be a very specific thing. Though casual play, if you know what you're coming up against. All right, next up, Demos. There's no Demios, that would be silly. It's Demos. Godwatch, Deity, and Monster keywords. Quaking and Terror, unique modifier. Opposing characters within 4 squares, modify attack -1. Son of Ares is the second trait, unique modifier. If Demios is within 4 squares of a friendly character named Phobos, modify both their defense by +1. For the dial you're getting for 55 points, one of the keynote things is this Quaking and Terror trait. I think this will combo fairly well with the Dune Buggy that we already have, and could definitely be worth taking a look into. In combination with that. So there's a couple good, and it's Mystic, so he's kind of dissuaded against attacking him. All right, next up, Nightwing with the Batman family, Teen Titans and Martial Arts keywords, Titan Reborn trait, ignores elevated and hindering for movement. He's got a special damage power. Does your utility belt still have a fax machine too? Leadership. Free, choose 1. Close combat, expert, range combat, expert, perplex, or outwit. Nightwing can use a chosen power until your next turn. Minor pick a power for 75 or 50 points in sealed is going to be super potent, depending on how you play him. He's also got the Batman ally and Teen Titans team ability. So do with this as you will for casual and as sealed. Probably not going to make much of a splash in the way of competitive play. All right, next up, we have figure number 11, Duke Thomas. Gotham City martial arts keywords. We Are Robin is his trait. Friendly characters making close attacks modify attack +1 for each other friendly character adjacent to them. This is a weird wording. Let's see. For each friendly character adjacent to them. So I figure whoever's making the attack, and as long as they're adjacent to more than one dude, we'll get that. I think this might need a bit of a clarification. I'm not 100% sure. He's 35 points, so I'm pretty strong, getting extra attacks just for, having multiple guys in the same place. If that's as far-reaching as it looks like on the power, that's totally cool power. Though it could be just you need to be adjacent to Duke Thomas for that to work. Excuse me. Oh, man, this takes a lot. All right, next up, Aqualad. Atlantis Teen Titans keywords, Titans Reborn trait. Working on my electrokinesis is his other trait that says energy explosion with 6 range and 3 targets, but only once per game. And you're not going to get much in the way of running shots. It's kind of an emergency. This is a close combat focused dude who is with telekinesis. So for sealed, you get that little bump of telekinesis to help get your guys where they need to be, which turns into some late dial blades, flurry. For 50 points, you could do worse than sealed and casual. He's not going to be, again, making a splash in competitive, which is a thing to kind of expect. Not very many figures make the cut for competitive play. All right, next up, Cyborg. Justice League, Teen Titans, and Robot keywords, Titans Reborn trait. Sonic Arm Cannon is a special attack power, penetrating psychic blast. When Cyborg uses it to target a single opposing character, he has knockback. So you can really do a number on a dude with some psychic blast for 75 points or 50 points. Either value is useful and sealed. I'm probably more likely to use the 75-point version myself just for that 18 defense off the top. In sealed, that'll go a long way. 7 range with 2 targets with that running shot as well, adding to that reach. And he's got enhancements. If you got other guys with range, he's going to make them that little bit better. All right, next up, I love this dude. Prez Rickard. Politician. Everyone's favorite teenage president is his trait. Prez Rickard doesn't count for or against theme teams. And then the second one is the Golden Age of America. Leadership, but succeeds on a 4-6 when Prez Rickard uses it and succeeds. Instead, you may remove one action token each from any number of opposing characters. For each one removed, remove an action token from a friendly character within 6 squares. So it's kind of a thing where at the cost of taking away opponents' action tokens, you can actually remove your own. And if you see a super mega turn to use that, do it. And especially if you can super capitalize on it. I feel like this could be a sealed out of nowhere bomb. Casual and competitive play, this guy does have a bit of a place. And this figure choice comes courtesy of Jose Rodrigo Rosales Guerrero. I apologize if I did a bad job on the pronunciation of that. But 18 defense with defend as well to go with this character. Overall, just pretty gnarly dude. I'm okay. Thank you very much, Jose, for your choice of character, for giving us something brand new. All right, next up, Wonder Woman. Amazon, Justice League, Trinity, Mystical Warrior keyword. She's got this leading the charge trait. Another one that Adelaide Kane can really capitalize on. Leading the charge. You're going to see this with Justice League dudes, where when Wonder Woman makes a first attack and during a turn it hits, until your next turn, other friendly characters with the Justice League keyword can use Close Combat Expert. You're going to see this trait is the same except for the power or ability that it offers up when the character with it makes the first attack. Her other trait is the Lasso and Shield, which gives her energy, shield, deflection, and super senses, but only against close attacks. Justice League team ability, 100 points, Indomitable, flies. For a 100-point common, this is a pretty gnarly character. You also have to remember is traded with energy shield, so has a little bit more beef on the distance factor. So she's probably easy, light, or very likely to get in a little better. And then once she is in, she adds super senses to whatever you got here. So I think this is one of those at face value doesn't seem great, but is going to really shine in the sealed environment in this set. The sealed environment is also very awesome in this set, especially with the number of choices you get out of packs. All right, next up. Superman. This is our first character from the Justice League of China. He's got the celebrity, martial artist, and mystical keywords as well as Justice League of China. He's got this trait, military self-reliance. Another one Adelaide Kane can capitalize on if you got two of them. Superman has protected, perplex, and probability control, but both only from characters without the Justice League of China keyword. That's both offensively and defensively. So your own characters aren't going to be able to perplex up Superman unless they also are Justice League of China characters. And then focus my key wherever I need it most. At the beginning of your turn, choose a combat value. Modify the chosen combat value by +1 till your next turn. If you start at 150 points, instead, modify that combat value by +2. This is a character who's kind of playable at his high point, the 75 point as well, because you always got to think about the fact that you're getting that extra stat. The 75 point one, that attack drop hurts, and you're going to end up using that combat value for attack when you're planning on attacking with this dude. But just in general, this is one of those things that the plus to combat values is great for sealed. For competitive play, I think it's going to be slightly less effective. But that's not to say this character isn't really good for casual. Like, it really stands out in a casual and sealed environment. Just be where he's not indomitable, so you got to kind of be aware of where he sits on the dial, especially with the points you're investing in him on the high dial. All right, move into the uncommons, and whew, my favorite dude is up there in the top of the uncommons as well. This is figure number 17, Deathstroke. Defiance, Assassin, Martial Artist, and Soldier keywords. Remember, we're the good guys trait. And then once the Terminator, now the Protector. Adjacent friendly characters with the Defiance keyword can use Mastermind, but only to choose Deathstroke. If Deathstroke was damaged by an opponent's attack since your last turn, modify his attack and defense by +1. He's 75 points. He's got the defense value on the first 3 clicks. He's got regeneration on the last click, which brings him back, could potentially bring him back to his 18 defense there. Starts with some leadership. This is an unassuming Deathstroke who's going to be okay and sealed, especially with a couple of those common Defiance guys. And is going to, he's just going to fare okay in casual, especially on Defiance theme teams. Not necessarily going to be breaking the world. All right, next up. Oh, sorry. Next up, Jericho, Teen Titans and Armor keywords, Titans Reborn trait. Contact, Mind Control, Sidestep. When Jericho uses Mind Control, this target a single character and hits until your next turn. When that character attacks, all friendly characters can use Shape Change that succeeds on a 4 to 6. He's got special defense power across the first 4 clicks on 75 or first 2 clicks on 50. Icon shield at 32% of design limit. Toughness and willpower. Jericho can use invincible instead of toughness when attacked by a character of lower points. That's coming from a 75 or 50 point character. This mind control, I think, makes him kind of stand out. If you can find a way to make him consistently hit with an 8 range on the mind control, and you're coming across teams that have one big guy that's going to try to attack your team, and then all of a sudden you could possibly be rolling 4+ shape changes against it, I think Jericho really kind of excels a little bit more. But at the same time, you sort of have to build the team with him in mind and make him effective. So it's the type of team you've got to decide, and that's either a Teen Titan or Armor team or a very specific build type. All right, next up, figure number 19, Ravager. Teen Titans Assassin Martial Artist keywords, ignores elevated and hindering for movement. Remember, we're getting paid, and Teen Titans Reborn traits. And then she's got special damage power, precognitive senses. Exploit weakness, perplex, probability control, but only to reroll attacks she makes or the targeter. So exploit weakness and perplex are great powers, and then probability control specific for her on this 75 point dial. This 5 clicks is with Indomitable is pretty good, but doesn't necessarily, I think, excel. I would not poo-poo her in sealed or casual play, but this is a lot of points to be played into this figure. For competitive play. All right. Next, still in the Defiance world, Kid Flash. Central City Defiance and Speedster keywords. Remember, we're the good guys trait. And then the Speed Force trait is back for those who won't remember. When Kid Flash moves at least 1 square and hits 1 or more adjacent characters after resolutions, give him a speed token. Modify speed +1 for each of his speed tokens. And then he's got special attack power. Free tornado rides for everyone. Free. Choose one. Force blast, smoke cloud, or telekinesis. Until your next turn, Kid Flash can use a chosen power and may remove a Speed Force token to activate it for free instead. So if you can get a Speed Force token on this character with a little bit of help, this guy will really be cool and sealed, especially once you start using those free powers for free, or sorry, those powers that you selected for free. They'll go far, kid. And for 75 points, this is a sealed, casual, good, competitive. Maybe there's a team that might be able to make good use of him. All right, next up. Figure number 22, Power Girl. This is the Defiance version. Remember, we're the good guys. Defiance, Star Labs, and Scientist keywords. Remember, we're the good guys trait. Larger than life is our other one, which gives her super strength as a trait. Then, free, choose Giant or Colossal until your next turn. Power Girl has a chosen symbol and modifies the combat values by +1. Then she's got a special damage power, Towering Intellect. Choose Outwit or Perplex until the next turn. Power Girl can choose to use the chosen power. Now, one thing to note is this dial is great, and then you choose a Giant or Colossal, and then it's +1 great. So think about that when you're looking at this figure, and you kind of get a little bit of a better opinion of her. I still think it's on the cusp of being worth it. It's on the cusp, but not great in the idea of competitive play. Casual sealed, she's going to excel, especially in sealed, because those +1 stats, if you go with the 115 point, you're looking at what? An 11 attack, a 12 attack with 11 movement with charge, which actually becomes like a 6 movement charge with 18 defense and 4 damage. That's, that's gnarly. I like her. All right, next up. Steel. Justice League and Robot keywords. Haywood Legacy, there it is again. Behind me, people. Impervious, free until your next turn. Steel can use invulnerability instead of impervious, and he has adjacent friendly characters to modify defense. +1. 90 points with these values. With Indomitable is a pretty strong close combat dude if he can make the hits. Higher on the damage than he is on the hits. But after the first 2 clicks, he's got Close Combat Expert to help make that possible. With the JLA team ability, 90 points. This is a sealed, maybe, depending on the team that you're playing. Casual, yes, definitely. Throw him in the casual teams all day, every day. Definitely not seeing as much in the way of competitive for him. But that's cool. All right. Next up, Veronica Cale. Godwatch and Scientist keywords. You're no better than I is her first trait. During force construction, if a character on your force has the Amazon or deity keyword, Veronica Cale gains that keyword. So she could be like a part of a Godwatch, Scientist, or deity, or Amazon keyword team. Her Godwatch trait, if an opposing character has the Amazon or deity keyword, friendly characters with the Godwatch keyword modify their combat values +1. So imagine a Demos in the right environment getting... I mean, it's not going to happen frequently, but in the environment, you never know. Crush Woman... I keep saying the environment. Crush Wonder Woman and her legacy. Outwit and Perplex. When Veronica Cale uses Outwit to target a character with the deity keyword, she can choose 2 powers instead. When she uses Perplex to target a character with the deity keyword, she chooses 2 different combat values instead of 1. So here's the important part, is that's Outwit and Perplex, and that is on all 4 of her 35-point click dial. All 4 clicks of her 35-point click dial. There we go. They got the words out there. And she's got Smoke Cloud, which I'm very likely to use on a character of this particular nature. So yeah, I'm going to say Veronica Cale is pretty alright. And you know what? I already know of a Scientist team that can make effective use of her. And yeah, I like her a lot. There's a place for her as a solid support character for sure. All right, next up. Billy Baston. Fawcett City, Justice League International, Justice Society, Mystical Reporter. World needs to know your sins trait. This is something you see on a lot of reporters. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose an opposing character within 4 squares in line of fire. Until your next turn, that character can't be given free actions. Then Shazam is his special stop power. Stop, but only once per game. If this character was revealed by damage from an opponent's attack, and you paid 40 points for Billy Baston, after resolutions, replace him with Shazam on click 6 this game. That Shazam can't be healed above click 6, and when KO'd, instead scores 40 points. We'll see what that Shazam looks like in a minute. This is a Fawcett City, Justice League International, Justice Society, Mystical and Reporter keyword team. Dude. This comes courtesy of the Team World Champions from 2017, Easton Brock, Howard Brock, and Warren Chin. He's got the special movement power on all of his clicks, and then the stop power, of course, is on his last one. Comes in at 40 or 20. Both point values are very solid on this guy. 40 points gets you a little bit of extra oomph out of one of your support characters. 20 points just gets you a support character, both of which have stop. Which means, one stop gives you another dude. One stop just stops a dial of 20 points from dying. And I think that kind of stands out. So I want to thank Howard Brock, Easton Brock, and Warren Jin for Billy Baston. Okay, next up, we have figure number 27, Colonel Poison. Godwatch, Scientist, and Soldier keywords. Relax, it hurts more if you try to resist it. Poison, protected poison. When Colonel Poison uses poison, damage dealt is penetrating, and all characters damaged this way can use Battle Fury until your next turn. Free, choose an adjacent friendly character. That character can use Battle Fury until your next turn. Now, what's important about this is that this poison power that she's got, what that means is when they're giving Battle Fury, when she's giving Battle Fury to opposing characters, they won't be able to get carried away. Though, if you are relying on shape change, you got to remember you're going to stop relying on shape change in a second. But yeah, I think this is very cool, probably going to be underrated at first character for 40 points. There is a poison, carry a bunch of dudes teams. She could be played in multiples to great effect, I think. And I think this will be underrated for a little while until she starts working. So yeah, all formats I think she's got a place. All right, next up, Mr. Terrific, Justice Society Terrifics, Celebrity, and Scientist keyword. We got the T-Spheres trait, free, generate a T-Sphere bystander, max 3, or place any number of his T-Spheres adjacent to him. Special attack power, calculate the optimal angles. Precision strike, when Mr. Terrific makes a close attack, you may target a character within 6 squares that's adjacent to a T-Sphere, regardless of line of fire. So it's kind of a short range, extend the range sort of situation. The T-Spheres are these little dudes that are autonomous, fly, have sidestep or toughness, and have Tiny. So the hover mode says opposing characters don't have to break away from T-spheres. And then the constant data feed, perplex, but only to target the character that generated as bystander and only to choose a combat value that hasn't already been chosen by a T-sphere for this turn. So you can get, like, if you have 3 T-spheres, you can get 3 powers up by 1 if they're next to Mr. Terrific. Or you could use one of them to kind of get a line on somebody who you wouldn't normally and get some extra attack and damage out of that attack. There's a lot of flexibility with this character that makes him kind of really good. And I'm going to say there is some kind of competitive aspect to him, and kind of leave it at that because, Jason's probably going to bring him to a tournament because he makes bystanders. We all know Jason. All right, next up. Figure number 30, Artemis. Amazon Outlaws Warrior keywords, Dark Trinity. When Artemis attacks, modify attack +1 for each other friendly character with the Outlaws keyword adjacent to the target. I'll kill them less. Sorry, I'm going to move the camera here. I'll kill them less is the second trait. When Artemis hits one or more characters after resolutions, roll d6. On a 4 to 6, give a hit character an action token. On a 6, give all hit characters an action token. Then she's got a special attack power, Blaze Claws, Fangs. Close, make any number of close attacks, each targeting a different opposing character. That is absolutely insane. Because you can include that with charge. If you can charge into a couple guys, well, okay. She only has 2 clicks with it with charge. Oh, man. The meaty set, this is like a sandwich or a Twinkie with like cream filling, and like everything on the inside of the outsides of this dial is fantastic. But getting there is kind of the scary part. Indomitable, Outsider Team ability, 100 points. This is sealed and casual goodness. Oh man, if she had that special attack more front loaded, oh man. Oh, she'd be something else. She already is kind of something else if you think about it, but I don't know. I don't see it working in competitive. No, maybe no. Hold on. Now that I think about it, there's enablers for that, like Moondragon. I have to do some research on that one, but we'll put it as a hard maybe for competitive. Artemis is on the verge, we'll say. All right, next up we got Batman. Batman Family, Gotham City, Justice League Outsiders, Trinity, and Detective keywords. Leading the charge, which gives Justice League keyword characters protected outwit if Batman is the first one that attacks. Yeah, he does that, is his second trait. Love the names of some of these traits sometimes. Lines of fire drawn to Batman are blocked unless the line of fire crosses only unoccupied clear squares. Using your momentum against you is a special movement power. Charge, leap, climb, sidestep. When Batman breaks away, you may choose an opposing character he breaks away from. If you do, after resolutions, place that character up to 2 squares away and within a line of fire from its current square. It's kind of bouncing off of people for 85 points for a 5-click dial with the Outsiders, JLA, 5 range, Indomitable. Ooh, man. Until I saw the point values, I was all in on this Batman. Now I'm a little less plussed. Sealed. He's super effective, but you got to be super smart with him, and he's really hard to draw a line of fire to, and I think that's what a lot of the point values are going to be on this one. So I'm not going to say he's necessarily bad, but there's a lot of effort you got to put into making this guy really work, and some super careful play for that 85-point investment. Sealed, casual, good. I don't know about competitive. You really gotta you have to be prepared to make him super functional and really back him up. All right, next up, The Flash, Justice League China, Speedster and Spy keywords, ignores elevated and water for movement, Ministry of Self-Reliance trait, which we saw earlier on the Superman, borrow some of your momentum. When the Flash moves at least 1 square and hits 1 or more adjacent characters after resolutions, give a hit character a stolen speed token. Characters with stolen speed tokens modify speed and attack -1. The Flash modifies speed and attack +1 for each stolen speed token on opposing characters. When opposing character is given a capital move action after resolutions, remove all stolen speed tokens. So 100 or 75 points with Indomitable. I think you want to play this at 75 and sealed because there's so much evasion on the dial. But if you're hard up and sealed, 100 points is not going to be bad for an 18 defense with defend that also comes with probability control. If you can pick your targets intelligently and make effective use of the stolen speed trait, this is a character that can really excel beyond what she looks like, I think. So yeah, not terrible, not groundbreaking, and it's going to be very awesome and casual and sealed. All right. This is my high point of the set. I love this dude. It is Superboy. I cannot believe this dial. You'll see in a second. Kryptonian, Metropolis, and Teen Titans keywords. Super Sun's traits. Superboy can use the team abilities of friendly characters within 4 squares unless they are uncopyable. So he's wildcard that doesn't have to wildcard. He just has them. He's also got the Titans Reborn trait, and then this other trait. Yeah, well, I'm taller than you. When a friendly character named Robin hits after resolutions, modify Superboy's speed and attack +1. That's gonna be one of those situations where you really need to Robin. But let's at first glance, it's like, well, this doesn't seem that great. Let's look at the numbers on a 75-point dial that we're getting here. Flight and Indomitable, 14 movement with charge with an 11 attack, 18 defense with invincible, 4 damage. I mean, he outranges Outwit on his charge range. That's absolutely nuts. He's got the Superman ally and the Teen Titans team ability. So if you're shooting at the 6 range because somebody's outwitted your charge, you're ignoring their stealth. I mean, this is 75 points. I want him carrying all of my Molly Hayes. Holy smokes, I love this dude. There's an edge in competitive that might use him. It's not initially it's not obvious, but I think he will show up somehow, and he's going to buff people super hard. Yes, that is the official terminology I'm using. Buff. French for beef. I'm beefing you, boy. All right, next up we have Superwoman, Metropolis, Reporter, and Scientist keywords. Lana Lang's real word rename. Cool. I can also absorb energy as her first trait. Steal energy, but with range attacks instead of close attacks. Second trait, get behind me. Superwoman has adjacent friendly characters have protected. Superwoman and adjacent friendly characters have protected, energy explosion, and pulse wave. Then manipulate all forms of energy is her special damage power she has on all her clicks. When Superwoman is damaged by a ranged attack, give her a number of energy tokens equal to the damage taken. Free, remove X energy tokens to either heal -1 clicks or modify damage +X when making a range attack. Alright, next up. Shazam! Fawcett City, Justice League International, Justice Society, Deity, and Mystical keywords. So Wisdom of Solomon is his first trait. When Shazam starts the game, choose one. Outwit, opposing probability control, pulse wave, mind control. This game, Shazam has protected X, where X is the chosen power. Power of Zeus is his second trait. At the end of the turn, if Shazam has not been moved or placed this turn, give him a Zeus's Might token. Modify Shazam's defense +1 for each Zeus's Might token he has. When Shazam moves or is placed, remove all Zeus's Might tokens. And then he's got the special attack power, Thunder Strike. Quake, Shazam may use it at no cost instead of close attack while using hypersonic speed. And this one comes courtesy of Howard Brock, the 2017 HeroClix World Champion. He's got the Mystics and Justice League team abilities. He comes in at 200 or 100 points. So if you look at it, Billy Baston brings in those last 3 clicks, which is still good if you're paying 40 points and getting that after the Billy Baston effectiveness. 200 points is a sealed casual play dial for sure, especially in the more than 300 point range, which just stops making sense very quickly. And then the sub 100 point dial is going to be pretty beefy for sealed. I really like the hypersonic quaking that you get on the 200 point line. Plus the fact that he's super scary to have to hit because of that. Mystics doesn't get through Invincible, but it gets through, everything else. So if he's not being attacked by dudes with Invincible, he's doing that damage. So thank you, Howard Brock, for that Shazam. All right, next up, Beast Boy. Doom Patrol Teen Titans animal keywords. He's got the Titans Reborn trait. As well, my parents turned me into a green monkey to cure me. Now here we are. Free, choose one animal, and Beast Boy can use the corresponding effects until your next turn. Eagle, which gives him precision strike, flight, and tiny. Gorilla, super strength, quake, and ignore elevated for movement. Octopus, which gives him flurry and plasticity, and the aquatic symbol. And the T-Rex, which gives him blades, claws, fangs, battle fury, and giant. This is the dial you get on a 60-point character that has all of those effects as well. So like while the dial seems bland at the 60 points in the Teen Titans team ability, you also got to remember he's got one of these neat effects at the right time. So like he could be a charging flurry octopus with plasticity, or he could be a charging Blades Claws Fangs Battle Fury giant, or he could be a charging precision strike eagle that's hard to hit at range as a result, a charging super strength quaking gorilla. There's the possibilities are endless as far as the effectiveness of Beast Boy, especially on that early dial. All right, next up, Cyclone, who's been politely fixed by me. Justice Society keyword. Blown away is a trait. Force Blast. Telekinesis once per turn. When Cyclone uses either, after resolutions, she may use the other one at no cost, but only to target the same opposing character. Still must be adjacent to use Force Blast. It's a 50-point, which sees what you get dial. You have to be very clever to use that special trait. 4 range, 2 targets, JSA. 50 points. This is a sealed. If you pull a couple of JSA guys or some wild cards, there's some potential there. But ultimately, it's a very okay character when it comes to anything else outside of sealed and casual play. Good piece for that Justice Society team, though. All right, next up. We're almost there, guys. The Flash, Central City, Justice League, Police, Scientist, and Speedster keyword ignores characters from movement. Leading the charge, which gives probability control to Justice League characters, but only to re-roll their own attack rolls. And that's only if Flash is the first guy to make an attack during your turn and hits. Hits is kind of one of those important parts that I fail at miserably. At peace with the Speed Force is his special movement power. Flurry. Phasing teleport, sidestep. When Flash uses phasing teleport and moves 5 squares or less, after resolutions, he may be given a close action at no cost. Flurry is a capital close action. Special attack power, which he has in his last 2 clicks. Heroes don't die, don't kill. Unless the Flash is the only character in your force, when he would KO an opposing character with an attack, instead that character is not KO'd and is turned to their last non-KO click, heal the Flash 1 click. That's one of those situations you get into. If those last 2 clicks can kind of keep alive, he can start whittling down opponents fairly well, getting their points down, getting his clicks back. It's kind of like a mild steel energy if you're KOing dudes. Sorry, I kind of went out of focus there. There's some, like, if the Speed Force, at peace with the Speed Force thing worked on half movement instead of a strict 5 squares, I think this would be significantly better. But really strong and sealed, really strong and casual. All right. Batman. Justice League of China. Martial artist and scientist. Ministry of Self-Reliance trait. And the second trait, the rocket arms of Robin Bot. Toughness and modify range by +2. Power, make a range attack, modifying attack and damage +2. After resolutions, Batman can't use this trait to the rest of the game. So he has this trait until you use the +2 attack, +2 damage. Then he gets nothing from the trait after that. And then, hope you did the homework, dummy. Which is a special damage power, which gives him leadership, outwit, perplex. When Batman uses leadership and succeeds, choose an adjacent friendly character that shares a keyword or is of lower points. That character can use perplex until your next turn. That's a really good leadership if it gets pulled off. Now this comes in at 100 or 75 points. Don't forget he's protected perplex unless it's from a Justice League China guy. But also remember, at any time this dial is +2 attack, +2 damage. Otherwise, it is +2 range, and he flies. He's indomitable. This is a really good sealed use figure. I don't like. He's a little soft on the competitive side, but I'm not gonna knock it. It's a pretty good. This is one of those good, not great figures, but good is really awesome. All right, getting to the super rares now. We're almost there. Mr. Oz, Kryptonian, Cosmic, and Scientist keywords. Waiting for the time to be right. If Mr. Oz is 40 points, he is KO'd when his dial passes the red line, which is after 2 clicks. 7 range, oddly enough. And then that power is, of course, protected Pulse Wave, because you don't want Pulse Wave from your opponents to be making your dudes better. Then he's got the special movement power, design technology of my own design, free. Place Mr. Oz in a square within 6 squares. He has that on the first 2 clicks past the line on his 100-point dial. Special attack power, intercept the projection. Telekinesis. Whenever a character is placed by telekinesis after resolution, you may place that character within 2 squares in line of fire of their current square. That's going to be annoying, and I love him for it. Special defense power, time is right. Stop, invincible. Mr. Oz can't be healed past this game. Basically saying, hey, once you pass a red line, this is your dial now. And then manipulate from another dimension is a special damage power. Probability control with a range value of 12. When Mr. Oz uses it, he can ignores blocking, elevated, and characters. And if you're wondering about hindering, guys, he's Superman ally team ability, and he's hyper time. I think at 40 points, this guy's worth it. At 100 points, he's sealed worth it for sure. And part of your Kryptonian. And Cosmic and Scientist have teams. So I think Mr. Oz is on the radar for both of those teams. All right, next up. Clayface. Batman family, Gotham City, celebrity, and monster keywords. The old brick and mace is a special movement power. Flurry, plasticity, sidestep. When Clayface uses Flurry, choose that either the first or second attack will deal penetrating damage. After resolutions, give a character hit by the other attack an action token. Massive moving mud is a special attack power, which gives him poison. Knockback. When Clayface hits with a close attack after resolutions, you may place him adjacent to a hit target. That's to keep him on top of guys who might be force blasting or knocking back away, rather, for safety of your other characters. Special defense powers gives him defend and invulnerability. He's got a special damage power. I tried it your way. Shape change, free until your next turn. Close combat, expert, and giant. And Clayface can't use stealth. This is what it looks like at 100 points. This is a sealed masterpiece, I think, for sure. Competitive play, there's a team, and I don't have it, but there's a team for him. And casual play, absolutely fantastic dial. Note, he plays 2 different ways. He's either a flurry plasticity sidestep guy, and when he uses flurry, he's super strong with it, with penetrating and action tokens coming from the attacks. And then he's got poison in some form across the entirety of the dial. That knockback effect is towards the last 3 clicks. The other effects are really focused towards towards back. I'm trying to hold them up and do this back end of the dial. So the defense powers on the last 2 clicks. The special shape change, the special thing where you lose the stealth. So on the last 3 clicks, he kind of goes from methodical Mudman to charging angry Mudman at either end of the dial. 100 points, not bad. All right, my piece de resistance. I love this dude. He's the hero of the beach, ladies and gentlemen. It's Flex Mentallo. He's got my body hair. He's the Doom Patrol, celebrity, and past keywords. He's got its trait, the insult that made me a man. Super strength. Once per turn, when an opposing character of higher points hits Flex Mentallo, after resolutions, roll a d6, heal Flex Mentallo equal to half the result. My famous hero Halo is a special defense power, energy shield, deflection, toughness. When an opposing character makes a range attack targeting Flex Mentallo, modify their damage -2. Also note he's got that on the last 4 clicks. So they're going to be -2 to their damage value. You're not reducing the damage. So that's all coming in before the damage is really just assigned. Then he's got a special damage power. I flexed hard enough to turn the Pentagon into a circle. Free, choose a piece of blocking terrain within 5 squares this turn. Characters treat that piece of blocking terrain as clear movement, for movement and line of fire, but it still can't be occupied. There's just a lot of cool stuff. There's, like, at first glance, he's a really beefy dude, but then he's got all this effect on him, and this comes courtesy of Daniel Leon, the 2016 HeroClix Chilean national champion. Thank you very much for your character selection, Daniel. I'm finding the team to use him, though. It remains to be seen what the celebrity keyword is going to give me. All right. The end. The chase. The Devastator. Dark Knights, Brute, and Monster keywords. Reckless disregard for life. Once per turn, when Devastator targets and hits a single opposing character with a close attack after resolutions, deal each other character that is adjacent to either Devastator or the target 1 penetrating damage. Includes friendly characters that usually the target. They say usually because sometimes knockback happens. He's got this other trait, We Will Not Hide in the Shadows Anymore. When Devastator occupies clear terrain and is targeted by a range attack, modified defense +1. When targeted by an opposing character that can use stealth, modify his defense +1. When targeted by an opposing character, occupying hindering terrain, modify defense +1, the modifier stack. So individually, if he's in open terrain, he's targeted by a range attack, modify his defense by +1. When he's targeted by a character that can use stealth, he gets +1. So if it's both effects, he gets +2. When targeted by an opposing character occupying hindering terrain, modify defense +1. So if he's got all three of those or any combination of them, you add them up together. So if he's got all three, it's +3. If any two of them, you get +2. Or if it's just a 1, you get +1. Then he's got the Doomsday Virus. Free, choose... sorry, I'm kind of blocking him with the card because there's a lot going on here. Free, choose an opposing character the Devastator hit this turn and give that character a Doomsday Virus token. This game, characters modify their combat values +1 for every 2 Doomsday Virus tokens they have. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6 for each character with a Doomsday Virus token. If that result is equal to or less than the number of Doomsday Virus tokens that character has, deal that character 1 unavoidable damage for each Doomsday Virus token they have, then give them a Doomsday Virus token. So they kind of start to add up after a while. And that all comes on 225 or 150 point dial. I'm more inclined to use the 150 point dial in a sealed environment. 225 are more likely to see it casual for me, though either or could play it. He is indomitable, much required at this kind of point value. I think we've been talking about how this it's not particularly sitting in the sealed friendly market, or the competitive friendly market. But there's probably a team out there somebody could put together that uses the Devastator. All right, let's wrap this show up, shall we?
All right, guys, that was DC Rebirth. Hope you're really excited for the set as we are. There's a lot of really neato stuff in the set that doesn't bounce out or is all of a sudden say, hey, this is definitely good, but there's a lot of neat ideas in the set and some stuff that you can really take a little further than it would seem like it will go. So once again, thank you guys over at WizKids for providing us with this awesome product, and we look forward to seeing you guys in further episodes and further unboxings. In the meantime, have a good one.